Okay, we're live. I do have, this is Emanating Sovereignty. Welcome. This is streaming live on Google Hangouts. I'm Ryan, and I have Demetrius Holder, one of the third-party interveners for Rod, the infamous Rod Class case in DC, the gun case. Demetrius was one of them who was there the whole way. He's part of the research team, been doing this deep in it for the past 5 years. But yeah, you were one of the third-party interveners who actually was there seeing it. You stayed the whole time, right? You were part of the panel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And if it was more people in this at that courtroom in this case and intervening in this case, because it applies to the people as well. See, Rod's not just doing this just for Rod. He is doing this for everyone. Okay, and he's put this together in such a fashion to where they can only suppress our paperwork. Okay, we filed documentation into this court system that was enough to overturn every court case in America. Okay, Rod sits in the Supreme Court of the United States as we speak right now. Okay, so there are constitutional violations that have been exposed. Supreme Court rulings that have been broken. Okay, we have two courts saying two different things. One saying that the Supreme Court rulings don't apply in their court, and the other, and then we have the Department of Justice is saying these people don't work here. Okay, so who's who and what's what is what we're trying to get down to the bottom of. Okay, we've exposed the corporate side, of the United States, which they're not under the Constitution. They're private individuals. And that goes across this country. We have a bunch of private individuals, calling themselves police officers, calling themselves bankers and lawyers and judges, and these are all private individuals, okay, where there has to be some type of contractual agreement compels you to perform. So that's what we're exposing.
Yeah, and I've seen, everybody hears of all these different means to, get out of the system, combat the system, and stand up for your rights, your lawful sovereign rights. But the only person that I've seen who's connected everything is, you and y'all's research team, the administrative process. And that's exactly why we're talking about it, because this is available for everyone. And this year, shit is going down. Like there's a lot of things coming out, and people are just dormant or just not exposed to what even the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg that's coming out in visual, right in front of us. And it's going to take filing in to hold these people accountable, all those people who's not taking responsibility and trying to put it on us, switch the roles. It's just a bait and switch that's been going on. So we're here to go get into the administrative process and what exactly it is. I'm sure there's going to be some who've never even heard of it who's going to be tuning in. This is very deep, and there's also going to be people who already know. So
yeah,
we're just going to cover all bounds by just laying the framework of if you want to just get into what is the administrative process.
Okay.
In general.
Okay. No problem. All right. The administrative process, okay, is when it's a process that you go back into the administration and issues, okay, with this administration, okay. In this administration, alerting the key official and okay, and if the state and federal gets come back, and documentation stating not gonna, do anything to them and give you permission to go sue them in their private capacity. Okay, because in their private capacity, they have done some things that went against the policy of that corporation or that government. Okay, and I'm gonna explain both of them because there's a perception of government, but they're all corporate individuals. Okay, so we file in SS9 forms, we filing complaints, to the key officials of the states. The state is receiving, okay, that is being allocated to all of our birth certificates, or excuse me, for all of our birth certificates, for the Highway Safety Act program, for the welfare, maternal and child welfare program. There's being trillions of dollars pumped into our system, and it's due to our energy and our labor, okay, and our willingness to, operate through the system and operate the system. Okay, we all gotta understand something right now. Okay, we create the system. Okay, and when those people that go against the system that we created, okay, because we're all living in it. Okay, this is why I'm saying we created it. We're all living in it. We're all abiding by it in some shape, form, or fashion. So I don't care if you're stopping at a red light, you're abiding by the system. Okay, and that's just how easy you just gave up a right there. But I'm not saying just go out there and start running red lights, because those things were put into act for public safety. And there's a lot of commercial activity that's going around private individuals. So the public and the private is continuously mixing. Everybody's talking about you can't mix the public with the private. No, that's always mixing. Okay, because your body is in the private and your body is also in the public. Okay, you can't help that. You have a physical address, you're in the public. Okay, that's the outside of your house. Okay, inside of your house, you're in the private. The people who have to come in there is the ones that live there. If they don't live there, they have to have certain paperwork that says they can come in there. You know what I mean? But however, so we hit them administratively, okay, because they're charging you under a statute, okay, and what we're going back in and saying is, how does this statute apply to us, okay, as in general, as collectively,
the living and breathing beings. How does it apply to a living and breathing being?
Correct. And not just that, the name of that individual as well, that natural person. Okay, how does that apply to that natural person? Because this natural person hasn't been compensated to follow this statute. Okay, there's not an employment contract, for this natural person to compel to, so we're exposing that now. Okay, and we're also exposing that these administrative courts are all illegal. No, they come out of the executive branches of government. You're not judicial.
Yeah.
So every administrator around is that or every judge that's called themselves a judge is really an administrator. And how can you say that the statute applies to me when I haven't been compensated? Okay, on the 11th Amendment, you can never be a judge. Because the states and federal governments don't have judges. They're all administrators. I don't care if it's even the Supreme Court. They're all administrators. And what are they administrating? They're administrating something. They're administrating our estates. Okay? Every time you see the word state, you have to add that E in front of it, because that is talking about you. So allotments to the E states under the Social Security Act of 1935, where your birth certificate is getting $3.8 million the day you were born and $3 million every fiscal year after. Okay, and that comes under Title V of the Social Security Act, Section 501 and 502. Okay, so this makes you a part of the administration and your management. We're management. Okay, the administration works for us because they come to us for a job, begging us for a job come November. And that's from the president on down to the damn garbage man. So, that's why we do the administrative process. Okay, the driver's license, with the birth certificate, we start deregistering ourselves and our property from the state. Because the state has been using our estates, fraudulently and illegally, might I add, and taking your name out of context, calling you a defendant, you know, taking God's name in vain. You are God that we are in this commercial realm. Okay? You are a God in a commercial realm because your ability to sign a document, create a debt, is what creates commerce.
So
Okay?
the
And this,
consumer is God.
that is
in that.
correct because the consumer is the natural person, okay, who has the essentials of personal, family, and household, which are natural elements of survival. So, you know, that just wiped out all of commerce right there for the natural person. And that happened back in 1970 under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. It tells you that consumer is defined as a natural person. A natural person is exempt from all commerce because it's already been prepaid for with that life. Okay, if that life didn't get inside your body, okay, there would be no system, right?
And that's kind of like proof of life when you're giving that consent
right.
through signature.
That's
So
right.
we're backing it all.
That's correct. That's correct. So you have an asset, you have a huge principle with everybody you've signed a contract with, because that signature on that contract is what created that debt. So let's think about let's think about the banking, okay, and we'll get back to the administrative process because the banking system is what's controlling the administrative process as well. Okay, and we have to understand that that's tied into the administrative process as well. Why? Because we're using Federal Reserve notes. Okay, I got a judge to declare, that the Federal Reserve notes was illegal when he accepted my informer of paupers request. We that was kind of funny. We set the judges up. We're setting them up to spill their guts, and they don't even realize that they've spilt their guts to us. And going back and suing them in their private capacity, getting them, terminated. But however, the banking system is all connected to the administrative process. Why? Because of the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Okay, if people really sat back and took the time to go understand Section 16 of the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, it is telling you what that Federal Reserve note is for and who it is for. Okay, if you was not a member of the Federal Reserve, you wouldn't be able to have that Federal Reserve note. Okay, I'm gonna prove this to you today because you are a member of the Federal Reserve unknowingly. Okay, you have a master account with the Federal Reserve. Okay, where your signature has already been authenticated. Okay, by the Federal Reserve, by the Treasury, by the United States, by the Social Security Administration, and by the state. Okay, now these are all the financial institutions in our country. If you take the time and really think about it, all five of those entities that I just named are financial institutions here in America. Okay, and we are the asset because, of course, we our energy and our labor is what's running the country. Okay, and that all applies to the administrative process as well. Okay, so you're going back into the administration and you're proving that you are an employee of the state. Okay, if you want to play this game, if you want to play that game with them, because you don't have to play this game with them. You can cut off all commerce if you choose to. Okay, and that's up to that person to decide. But I'm gonna tell you, pretty much, it's gonna be damn well real hard. Living on and off the grid. Not using currency. But this is why you take the necessary steps to get on the do not detain list and things like that, because they're committing fraud anyway. You're supposed to be able to walk into any damn Walmart, sign the receipt, and walk out and get whatever you want. And that's what Congress did. They made that happen for you. Okay, and there's a process for that as well. But like I said, the banking is all tied into the administrative process, and how it is connected is because of those five reasons that I gave: the Social Security Act, 1913 Federal Reserve Act, okay, uh, Public Law 73-10, House Joint Resolution 192, These are all congressional acts. What Louis T. McFadden said, that the people is the credit line of the country and their signatures will represent every mortgage. Okay, so we're going back into congressional history and exposing the system. And this system we are management of. Okay, we all have unlimited credit lines. This is how all business and commerce is started in this country. Okay, you have to have an EIN number to have any type of business. You have to have a 501c3, any type of nonprofit organization. Okay, but if the currency is illegal, then it's all illegal, and that's all a part, and that's a part of the administrative process. Okay.
Yeah.
With
They
financial,
published it. They went ahead and legislated and took record of all of their congressional days that they held Congress.
that's correct.
Everything's written. So we're just using their own, their own word.
Right.
It's not color of law or spirit of law. Then that's
No,
just undefined. So
that's
this is
correct.
the law, the supreme law of the land that we're getting into, and
That's right.
it's super important to watch every step, every action you're going to take, because I mean this is the big way to hold them accountable, and this is actually making changes.
Oh
There's
yeah.
been so many judges having to be disbarred and arrested, just
Yeah.
because of what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, like we're saying, we're taking them back through the administrative process, going them back into their administration to address how these statutes apply to us, and they don't if we haven't been compensated. If there's an adhesion contract that we don't know about, then that's fraud.
Yep,
And
non-disclosed, and
right.
then we got labor management disputes. We're not getting paid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because if you think about it with the driver's license, when you get your driver's license, they ask you for two pieces of identification. Okay, they ask you for a birth certificate and a social security number. Okay, once they ask you for those two identification pieces of identification to create a, a, a an identification card, that created a person. Okay, and this person on this identification card is subjected to the laws of that state. Okay, this is how they're making the adhesion contract. Okay, but they're not disclosing that to that 16-year-old when he's going to get that driver's license. Okay, and they're not telling the 16-year-old that you can send in labor and wage demands because the state is a Fortune 500 company. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to contract with you all through your life, so you can drive safely, and we're going to pay, and we're supposed to be paying you to drive safely. Okay, this is why the Highway Safety Act program was instituted. Okay, for public safety, highway public safety, because we have trucks that's on the road, that can kill somebody. So there have to, be laws that govern those avenues, which is called commercial activity. Okay, and under the highway safety program, you have transportation, and then transportation falls under Title 49, okay, Section 31301, and these are the definition of the terms. Okay, once you get into the definition of the term driver, the definition of the term employer, and the definition of the term employee, it will tell you that you are an employee of the state. And you can find that in Title 49, Section 31301, 6, 7, and 8, subsection 6, 7, and 8. And you go read those three. Okay, if you can pull that up for your people there so they can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pulling it right now.
Okay. See, when you hold them to that contract, they have a hard time disputing you, because highway safety, the Highway Safety Act program is giving federal funding from the federal government to the states. And the state is telling them that they're paying us to drive these cars because they're subleasing our cars out to us. Because the state owns your car. Okay, because it's registered in the county, and the county have you get the license and put the tag on it and everything. So, but the county is not getting that 40% of that, of that federal funding. They're not getting their 40%.
Well, I pulled up 311101.
No, it's 313. 313. Like,
Okay.
yeah, Eric, that 31301.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, definitions. It's
Right.
49 U.S. Code 31301 definitions.
Right. Okay. Now you should study all the meanings and terms of the words so you can understand the language that they're coming in. But I just want you to go ahead and scroll down to 6, 7, and 8 so we can get into the meat and the grits of this right fast.
Okay, this is number 6. It says under the definition section,
Go ahead.
driver's license means license issued by a state to an individual, authorizing the individual to operate a motor vehicle on highways. That's what a driver's license is. And then number 7, employee. Employee means an operator of a commercial motor vehicle, including an independent contractor when operating a commercial motor vehicle, who is employed by an employer. And then number 8 is employer. The definition of employer is a person, including the United States government, a state, or a political subdivision of a state, that owns or leases a commercial motor vehicle or assigns employees to operate a commercial motor vehicle.
Okay. So in that 6, 7, and 8, they're telling you right there that you are an employee of the state because you have the state license identification cards. You got identification cards. You have the driver's license, and then you have the commercial driver's license. Okay, all those 3 things you are required to be compensated for having because it would be illegal for you to operate in the state without those 3 things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well that violates some natural rights. Okay, this is how all the identity theft is being, perpetuated upon us as well. And identity theft is the number 1 thing in this country that's making billions and trillions of dollars. Sharing information, other people's information and getting paid off of it to that name and that number. Okay, so that name and that number on that driver's license originated from that social security number and that birth certificate. Okay, so you have a contract with the state. Okay, and the state is required to compensate you labor, wages for your labor, by giving you wages, compensating you vacation, medical, dental, because they're reporting to the federal government that they're giving you all this. And that's not the case. That shit is being embezzled. Excuse my language, but it's being embezzled. And we're tired of that. You're stealing out of our private exemption accounts. All the bank judges are stealing out all of our private exemption accounts. Every time they get our signature, and every time they get our social security numbers, and every time they get our names. So, we're putting an end to this, and Congress had already put an end to all commercial activity back in 1970. And that was under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Once you understand, everybody who's wanting that Federal Reserve note, if they want that Federal Reserve note, they are a debt collector. Because that's what it is. It's a debt. So you're a debt collector. The police officers, they're all debt collectors. The lawyers, they're debt collectors. The judges, debt collectors. Bankers, all debt collectors. So we start treating them as debt collectors. And this is how we start tearing down the banks. Okay, because the bank is only issuing your own credit in the first place. You are the asset to the bank. Without your social security number and your signature card, the bank couldn't function at all. So that's all a part of the administrative process too. We've learned the system because we were forced to learn the system. We got tired of police officers pulling us over. Okay, so we figured out a way to get these people to stop pulling us over, and we start suing them in their private capacity and start taking their shit. Start taking their houses, start taking their cars, their clothes, damn shit, even their dog if we wanted it. Okay, but this is from the lack of knowledge on the law enforcement side. You cannot be law enforcement if we're not using gold and silver. Okay, you can only be a private contractor, and that should tell you something when you file your damn taxes. What type of tax return are you filing? If you're filing a W-2 or a 1099-C, then you are a private individual. And you're getting paid out of your own Social Security account because the employer has your Social Security number. Okay, so you're paying yourself to be law enforcement, and then you're thinking you're enforcing the laws, but you're not really enforcing the laws. That's a damn mind game that makes a person schizophrenic, making them believe something that's not true. You know, and that's why these police officers are waking up and starting to expose the system as well with the quotas. Okay, everybody know about what happened in New York. The officers came out and said that they were forced to be have quotas that they had to fill for driving tickets and things like that. Okay, that's all a part of the administrative process too. We're using congressional records. We're using Supreme Court rulings. We're using testimonies of people who worked for the system. We have forensic auditors coming out exposing the banking system when it comes to mortgages, and our signatures are being securitized on and sold on the stock market for $1 million a piece. Every time you sign a document, come on, man, and you're not getting none of that. You got people out here thinking that they're homeless, and that's never the case. So we're revamping the system, and we're trying to bring an end to this slave system. But it's gonna take the people to start walking off their jobs, letting them know, look, if you're not paying us in gold and silver, it's a wrap, because I'm tired of paying myself to work. Okay, and that's what it's coming down to. You're gonna have to get off your. You're gonna have to get out of your comfortability. Okay, you have to learn to get back to farming your own land and producing your own things, like we were supposed to be doing in the first place. We got so complacent with this banking system, depending on this currency to pay all of our bills, and we've not paid a bill. Okay, and when you're using the currency, but I'm here to tell you today, once you gave that Social Security number and that signature, that bill was paid for whatever house, car, for the job, for whatever. And we can prove this. We can prove it with in our taxes. Okay, because if they're saying that our tax dollars are going to pay the public officials and all this, then we're management. Back to square one. How do your laws apply to the management where the management is paying the salary of the police officer, or the police officer is pulling over a person in management? Because the taxpayer is paying his fucking salary. And it's pissing me off, man. I'm sorry, because I'm very
Yeah, man.
passionate about it. Because the dumbass police officer doesn't even understand that he's paying taxes as well. Okay, so how can you enforce statutes and codes onto the people that's paying your salary? That's a labor management dispute. And I'm management. You're management. Hell, the police officer is even management because he's paying himself to work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we don't have a contractual agreement between the two of us. So, I don't know, all charges have to should be dismissed, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to operate right. So we go administratively back into their administration and sue them in their private capacity.
And
That goes all across this land.
yeah, it applies in so many ways for pretty much anyone with any case. Any case you're
Everything.
dealing with an administration.
That's right. Everything. Everything falls back to the administration. Okay. The 1946 Administrative Procedures Act. Okay. This was very big when they passed this. Okay, because in their I don't have a whole bunch of notes right here in front of me because I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but in the 1946 Administrative Procedures Act, it tells you that if you are a part of the administration, you have to be compensated. It says that flat. You have to be because there are certain laws that says this as well. Okay, and if you're doing the compensation, okay, because they're using money out of your Social Security account, okay, then that makes you management, and that's all we have to understand. This is how we get the FBI. This is how we get the CIA. Everybody to compel to what we need them to do, because we're using their rules and their regulations to expose the system. We're showing how all these judges and lawyers in our states and our bankers are all foreign entities. Okay, they're all foreign entities. They don't belong here. That's where the massive identity theft is coming in as well. And we're starting to iron out that identity theft now. Okay, I'm gonna put this out here for all the listeners. Okay, I want you to write this down. If you can right now. And some may know, some may not know. For those that don't know, there's a website that you can go access. Okay, to run your legal entity identifier number. Okay, IN number is your social security number with the dashes. Okay, if you go type your number into that GMEI utility search bar, it's going to bring up a list of things that has been registered under that social security number and that name. Okay, and when this dump, and you're going to be shocked to see all this shit that's in your name, because you've been giving this social security number out and people's been sharing your information. Even the people that said that they were going to share your information, they're sharing it. Okay, and that goes hands down for everybody, because they're all private individuals. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. But back to that. Back to the Title 49. Okay, if you go back up to the top, Ryan, and see and show and explain to them what it says at the top. That says transportation, right?
Yeah, I'm under the definition. So Title 49, transportation. That's the name of it.
Right. Okay. Now, when you get that driver's license, okay, you are subcontracting with the state as a private contractor. Okay, as a private contractor, because when you take your driver's test and you pass the driver's test, okay, they have a driving instructor that signs off on your paperwork and says yes, they passed the driving test. Okay, go ahead and issue the license. The moment that happens and they issue that license, that's when you're required to be compensated. Okay, so that's not being discussed with the Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay, and many have tried to go down there and say, okay, who do we submit labor and wage demands to? Okay, and they told them, you have to go to the Department of Transportation, because they don't do that at the Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay, all they're doing is issuing identification cards, driver's licenses, registrations, license plates, and things of that nature. Okay, but
So even the ID, what you'd be an employee, right? Just even if it's an ID and not driver's license.
correct, because under state law, you are required to have a state identification card. Okay, because it would be otherwise against the law. If you go into a store and you buy beer and you don't have an identification card, right? Okay, so that even right there, that's a violation of your right.
Yeah.
having to show identification for buying beer. Okay, if you're over the age of 21, nobody needs to know your age. You know your age, and they need your business. So okay, so if that person wanted to press the issue, okay, they could, because under state law, you have to be 21 to buy liquor. All righty, that violates what? Think about it. If anybody knows the answer to that question, that violates a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. First of all, okay. Second of all, the state is saying that you have to provide identification when there's no crime being committed, because it's legal to buy alcohol. You just have to be over 21 to buy it, right?
Yeah.
So you have the federal backing this up, and they're both in violation of the Constitution. So that goes back to the private side. And that's when we go back to the administration and we address the issues like, okay, are you saying I can't buy alcohol until I'm 21? And I'm saying you're violating the right. Okay, you're receiving federal funding from the federal government not to violate my right. So, you know, that administrative action, that person, he gets to buy alcohol under the age of 21 because it violates his rights if he understands the system. Okay, and I'm not saying if you're under 21 to go out here and buy alcohol. You know damn well you're not supposed to be drinking, but I can't stop you because that's your right. You know, if you choose to govern yourself accordingly. You know, as long as you don't go out here and injure nobody, you'll be fine. And that's what we're exposing. Okay. Now I exposed something to you yesterday. Was I know I'm kind of jumping around, but you know we're kind of pressed for time. Everybody needs to go, find a copy of that Pope's letter to Obama back in 2014. Okay. And if y'all paying attention to what Anna von Reitz is doing in that letter that she sent out all across Facebook, they coincide with each other because the Pope has already abolished the Bar Association. Okay. They're waiting on the people in America to start fighting back. Okay. That's what they're waiting on. Okay. They're
And
waiting
he just said the Pope abolished the Bar Association, just if anyone didn't catch
correct.
that.
That's correct. The Pope has abolished the Bar Association because the members of the Bar Association, the lawyers and the bankers, have been stealing from the Pope. They have been stealing out of the Vatican. Okay, so they've crossed the line. Okay, the Pope is the one who created all commerce. If you guys not paying attention, the Pope is the one who created commerce. Okay, so he's put an end to all commerce. It's like that's done. I'm gonna tell you, they did that back in 1970. Okay, so now Pope Francis, he is really pissed now. Okay, because he's exposing the whole fact that y'all stole from me now. Okay, now this is a problem. Okay, so there really is no more commerce. They got to give you all your estate back. Okay, and it has to be in proper order when you return. So Donald Trump, he's gonna have to turn around and give everybody in America a black card. Okay, if you want to participate in that system. Okay, because that's what they're getting ready to do. They're getting ready to close all the banks down and wipe all the currency off the street. All you got to do is Google the new currency laws, and it's telling you they're going to wipe all the currency. All the Federal Reserve notes have been deemed illegal. And they've been deemed illegal since what? The early 30s. Well, shit, no, since the inception of the Federal Reserve Act, Section 16, and it gives you the description of what the Federal Reserve note is for. It was never for us to ever have that type of paper currency.
Goes
So they
against the
get ready. They have to
Constitution.
take up. Mm-hmm.
Just for being paper, just for being the note.
That's right, exactly. So we're all in violation of the Constitution because we choose to use that damn Federal Reserve note. Okay, and that was the only thing that was pushed out here. Because 1971, okay, when we went off the silver standard, okay, 1970 and 1971 were very pivotal years financially in this country. If people go back and do their research on those two periods of time, when they passed the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Because Lyndon B. Johnson, they already knew Lyndon B. Johnson was getting ready to go after the Social Security accounts because there was no more money. And the people had to, put forth the bill. Okay? There was a new, let me see, I just got wind of this and I had ran across it before and I thought it was disinformation. But when I heard it again and it was brought up to me again, I kind of started paying attention. And then it was said to me a third time, and that's really caught my attention. Okay, there was another constitution that was passed in 1972, I believe. Okay, and um, this had something to do with Cuba. Okay, and from what I've been, you know, researching and the information that I've been receiving so far, and your viewers need to go do some research on there. There was a constitution that was created in 1972, between 70 and 78. Okay, in that 8-year span. Okay, it was a whole lot of changes that took place. Okay, and this is what created the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, where the consumer was defined as a natural person, and a natural person is exempt from all commerce. So, it's not hard to get unlimited credit. It's not hard. It's not hard to get, unlimited credit if you understand that you are the credit line. Okay, we're doing all these processes, and we're not going back to the what Congress said and how Congress had it set up. You have an unlimited credit line. Okay, they told you not to give the Social Security number out.
Mhm.
That's our main problem in this country is, like I say, identity theft. And it's been identity theft, Ryan. I'm gonna just put this out here, okay? And I'm never a hateful person or any of that thing like that. But when I found out that when they said that I was a white person, I was like, okay, I started challenging things. I started, that started making me feel like, what? What do you mean? How do you figure that? And then I started doing my research. The original white people were supposedly the Moors, okay,
Yeah,
and the Moorish National, uh, Circle Seven,
like
Circle
original
Seven,
Jews,
say
like the
again.
original Jews, like the original
Well,
Jews.
well, the original Jews, yeah, supposedly, the Olmecs, all the indigenous people. Okay, and there's a difference between indigenous and aboriginal. Okay, and a lot of aboriginals were were deemed to be savages. Okay, prehistoric cavemen, aboriginals, indigenous. Now the indigenous was the ignorant genius. Okay, this is what indigenous breaks down into. Ignorant geniuses. Okay, that's why you are an indigenous being, because you have intelligence, you have a mind, you have a thinking capacity, you can speak. Okay, so we're all connected in some shape, form, or fashion. Because if you pull up your shirt, Ryan, and you can put your finger in that belly button down there, if you don't have one of those, brother, you're an alien. Okay. Yeah, because like I said, it's like the Matrix. Everybody's seen the Matrix. We're all connected to a battery source. We're all battery sources to something else, and that's the financial commercial system. We're a battery charge,
Mhm.
sucking our energy, sucking our labor, and they're shitting on us at the same time, and we're just tired of it.
Yeah, we're we're the 0 point endless amount of energy. That's why we're the managers. We're the one creating all of that energy. We're the batteries. We are the system, like what you're saying earlier.
Yeah,
And shit,
yeah,
we're just trying to make claim to what is going on because we're finding out what the hell is going on.
right.
And
Yeah,
I'm not sitting in, letting it happen anymore. That's why
right.
this
Yeah.
administrative process is happening.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You sit back. Don't sit back and let it pass you up, because once you understand the principles, okay, of family, household, personal, family, and household. Outside of those three principles, man, then everything else is irrelevant. Okay, and there has been allotments for your personal, your family, and your household that puts us in a certain class that we are the actual creditors of this nation, and we're exposing that we are the credit of the nation, and we always will be, because the nation will always be built off the backs of all people.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying just our people and our ancestors from slavery, but we our brothers and sisters that are of a different descent as well. You know, no matter how you look at it, we're all vessels in the same world, because we're all using the same type of currency and the same banking system that's stealing from every last one of us. A certain few, are out here that have secured their estates, and they're showing other people how to secure their estates as well. And I commend those people, for doing that, and they know who they are. You know, if they're listening, you know, they know who they are. And Rod Class, I'm gonna put his name out there because you know I I've helped this man literally, and I've seen the light. You know, and I've been places like, wait a minute, you know, and I was able to rebut, you know, people, you know, and it takes a certain level of confidence to having yourself to do these things, you know, because once you get in that court, it can be a little intimidating. Oh, and that's where that's where you're gonna have to go. And a lot of people saying, "I'm sovereign, I don't want to go into their court." Why not? Why not? Okay, because that court system, that court was designed for you to go in with your federal matters, with your federal social security number, because your federal social security number is what's running the court system. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Whether you want to call, whether they want to call themselves public or private. You know, if they want to be private, we got something for you. If you want to be public, we still got something for you. You know what I mean? We're the zero on the number line. We choose to go left or right, not them. You know what I mean? And that's what's being exposed. We do have a power that we can, you know, hold these people accountable for. All we got to do is start getting their employers to throwing them under the bus.
And they will.
And that goes.
They will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they have. You know. You know. I hate to say it. You know. It was some people that are in the federal government that had to step down and had to resign. You know, the ex-attorney general, the ex-U.S. attorney, senior judges and chief judges, they all had to step down behind that administrative process.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any specific questions? Do any of your viewers have any specific questions that they would, you know, like to ask? Because I know we kind of jumped around on a lot of things.
Let's see, I don't have anything on the feed or anything like on the event feed. I know at the beginning you were speaking about the process and it was kind of the bandwidth was messing up or something, but you just mentioned the SF95, the standard form 95, and that's pretty much the foundation of a lot of the filing in. Well, of course the foundation is more than that, but the SF95. Learn about the SF95 if you're looking to begin the administrative process. Anyone listening, and I'm going to put in this YouTube video. I'm going to put in the description. I'll have some links to AIB Radio, which is Rod Class's free online radio with TalkShoe, and all this is archived. You can download it for free. I have a few on, you know, that's what I've been listening to this year. I have I just downloaded them so I could listen to them on the way to work. You know, a lot of people don't get into this because all their time's allocated for, because it's set up like that.
That's right.
You know? You gotta work. Well, you also gotta be the bottom, like you're the final say on everything. You're the credit. You know, that's kind of more important than doing a work for that bullshit system that we're all exposing.
That's true.
So we'll also have in the description the actual letter from Pope Francis to Obama, which, man, it was awesome to see. I didn't know if it was real or what, but yeah, it is, because they're stealing from the Pope. Right. You know, and that's when shit gets serious.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, man, that was very alarming when I read that, you know. And they had let me see. And this started back in 2013 when they were supposed to have been, they had 3 years to get our states back, you know, back intact and returned to us. Okay? Because everything is being held in a trust, in the public trust. Okay? Think about where your footprints went. Okay, your footprints went to the Vatican. Okay, I'm going to put that out there too. When they stamped those footprints, those yellow feet on the bond paper, those were your landmarks. Okay, David, when I heard that for the third time, I heard it from David Clarence. Okay, that was the third time that I heard about those set of footprints in my lifetime. And then when he explained it to me in such that fashion, I was like, okay, I understand. But it kind of shocked me because that was proving some things that the Bible was talking about as well, you know, and how we got the mark of the beast and our landmarks. You know what I'm saying? Our landmarks are very valuable. Okay. Any landmark is valuable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet you are an actual landmark because you are flesh and blood living, flesh and blood living soul. And you're able to leave landmarks. This is your godly impression on the world. No,
It's
no,
your, it's your signature frequency.
that's
That
correct.
step. That's what it's
Correct.
showing.
Yeah. And that energy and that's pushing that frequency, it's coming from your soul and your energy. So, we're just showing that the system is based upon financial means of the people by doing a job, okay, by creating commerce. Okay, we are the creators of commerce. Okay, so if you understand your role as a creator of commerce, this is going to make you a super predator. like Hillary talked about, because once you understand that everybody that wants that Federal Reserve note is a debt collector, and you can take their asses out with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, what? That makes you a super predator. And that's what she said. There will be super predators out here, and that's alien knowledge. That's alien knowledge right there. You know, once everybody starts studying the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they put it in the commerce. And everybody who has your Social Security number that's been using it the wrong way, go back and their behinds up. And it ain't nothing they can do about it because they can't say they don't have your Social Security number. So, it's a great time to be alive. You know what I mean? Despite all the shit that's going on around the world, it is a very pivotal time for us to be alive, and it's going to be a very prosperous time for us to be alive. Okay, because I have a strong belief. Okay, that everything is going to be okay. We're going to get exactly what we want, when we want it, how we want it. You know what I mean? It's just, that's just the way it's supposed to be. Hell, I didn't ask to be born, Ryan. I know you didn't ask to be born. So, we feel that we don't have to pay for anything because we can all prove that it's already been prepaid for. That's another thing that makes us a super predator. Okay, because we can start going into the stores and getting what we want. Okay, go and they can't stop you. They cannot stop you. And the thing is I'm not saying just go into the store and take whatever you want. You go do your shopping. Okay? You go do your shopping. And when the cashier gets done, you have her print out that receipt. And you take that receipt and you sign the back of it with your name and your Social Security number on there. And you give it to the service desk. Okay? They have to discharge that debt. They can't subject you to an unlawful currency anymore. Okay? And this is what we're exposing. Okay, that signature on the back of that receipt with that Social Security number, I don't care how you write it, as long as your signature and that Social Security number is down there, that bill is paid for. Okay, and that's how I've been operating. Okay, because once they call the police, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna put myself out there like that. Once they call the police, the police are gonna run my name. And they're going to see I have foreign sovereign immunity, and they're going to let me go, and I can leave with all my products. You see what I'm saying?
That's the power of the administrative process.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. That's the power of the process of the administrative procedure. That is correct. And there's nothing they can do about it, and that's not our fault. Sorry, y'all shouldn't have gave us the Social Security numbers and didn't us how to use them. You know what I mean? Instead of letting the Federal Reserve come in and tapping into our accounts and create Federal Reserve notes off our account, nah, it's over with for that. It's over with for that. So, like I said, it's a great time to be alive, guys. And if people get out here and start trying this, you better understand what you have to know. You need to know what you know about your social security number. You need to go read the instructions on using your social security number, okay? Because you have never done that in the first place. And we all cannot say that the Social Security Administration told us not to give those numbers out and keep them in a safe place. Nobody cannot say that because that is one of the key instructions from the Social Security Administration. Okay, so we have been allowing people to use our name, tap into our private Trump exemption accounts, and do what God knows what with.
And that means like the DMV, right? That's what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on when you give it. Yeah, all these
yeah,
administrations,
that's correct. All these agencies, administrations. Now, if you understand
agencies. Yeah,
why we have all these agencies and administrations, is because we are still under martial law. Okay, under the Lieber Code, where all property has to be registered. We're still under martial law, and we have been since 1865. The day they lift that state of emergency, okay, for the currency or for the money or the Banking Emergency Act, okay, then it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Everybody will have to get gold and silver from now on. And that's what it's getting down to. You know, the Glass-Steagall Act. You know, they're trying to push it through. You know, because the top 10 countries in the world are not using our currency anymore, except for oil. Man, they're tired of doing that. This is why Libya has been under attack. This is why Syria has been under attack. This is why Saddam. Part of the reason why Saddam was, taken out. Because they were backing their currencies up by the gold. And the United States can't afford to do that. And China knows that. China won the Bretton Woods Agreement back in 2012, 2013. They won the Bretton Woods Agreement. So whoever controls the gold pays the bills. So, it's time to get your property back from the state and administrate your own and take care of your own affairs. And that's a deregistering process from the state as well.
yeah.
And we were going to get into that today too, like we were talking about deregistering your property from the state. Okay, all you have to do is go through the administrative process. Okay, and you expose the fact that you haven't been compensated under the Highway Safety Act, under the Birth Certificate Act. Okay, you haven't been compensated for none of that. And everybody's using your stuff and you can't use it. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's why I had a freeze put on all my assets. I don't want nobody to be able to use my name. That's why I reported to the Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I alerted these people that people were out here using my social security number, and I gave them the proof. The proof is under the GMEI utility website. The proof is through your bank. Anybody who has your social security number, that's the proof. Because they're not supposed to have it in the first place. Title 42, Section 408. Or is it 402? One of those. I think it's 402 or 408, where it tells you that that certain individuals are not supposed to have your social security number that has it. And they're tapping into that account. And it's telling you that. You're not supposed to be giving it out. No one's authorized to use that number but you. And that's for discharging of debt. Okay, and that's clearly defined in Title 5, Section 501 and 502 of the Social Security Act under maternal and child welfare, where you get a federal allotment every fiscal year to discharge your debt. So we have to be mindful. Again,
I was just saying, yep. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Whoever's saying, that you're against the system, you're the system. You're part of the system. All of us are.
That's right.
So there's no victim. There's awareness that just needs to be, shown and stood in. There's a responsibility to yourself, really, to hold these people accountable, man, for their torts.
That's right. Yeah. That's why we have the Federal Tort Claims Act. That's why we have the Federal Court of Claims. Because if the United States has created something, okay, that harmed you, you can file a claim. Okay, like the EPA, for instance, there have been many claims that have been filed in for the EPA because they're spraying chemtrails down on us. Okay, and they're using us as test subjects. So what we do is we take that public law. Hold on, let me go get it right quick, and you can have your viewers write this down, and you might want to write this down too, Ryan. But it's called. Hold on, let me go get it. Go get it. I gotta go back to my.
So the Environmental Protection Agency spraying
That's correct.
spraying the sky. So are we legally their test subjects? Like, are they supposed to be paying us for that role of?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. See, the thing is that they were supposed to get your consent individually to do that.
Hmm.
Oh, damn. Yeah, because I think I erased it yesterday, but it was Public Law 157. I think it's Public Law 157. But if you Google, if this is what you can Google, be specific when you Google this, laws that were created for chemtrails, or laws that were created for human test subjects for chemtrails, and it should take you there, because there was a YouTube video that a guy exposed this. I wish I knew his name and I wish I knew him personally, but put it out there. It was just some research that I had ran across, and he showed where congressional records said that they're using us as test subjects. Okay, but they had to get our consent first, and they didn't get none of our consent. They just started, doing the test subjects. So a lot of people have been filing claims into the Federal Court of Claims against the United States for these chemicals that the EPA are allowing to be sprayed upon us. Yeah, I thought I had the dang video, Ryan. I'm sick about it, but however, let me see.
If we find it later too, I can just put it on the description for the video.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna see if I
Is
got
it a Public Law 105 through 85 to authorize appropriations for fiscal year 1998 for military activities of the Department of Defense, for military construction, and for defense activities of the Department of Energy, to prescribe personal streaks for such fiscal year for the armed forces? Nah, I'm not sure if this is it.
Hold on, go back. When you might have to. What was that, Ryan? What was it? Public Law what?
105-85,
Hold on, let me see if that's the one come up.
Department of Defense. There is chemical demilitarization program. Defense health programs.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one, Ryan.
What's crazy is all this is being passed, and they're about all of us.
That's correct.
No one's seeing it.
That's correct, right. Yeah. Public Law 105-85. Guys, if you guys get into that, it is telling you that they are spraying chemicals down on top of us. Okay, and you can go file a claim in the Federal Court of Claims against the EPA because they never got your consent to do that. Okay, they were supposed to have your express written consent as a natural person. Okay, and you're coming under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act because these people are private individuals that's doing it. They're not government. So we filed a claim in the Court of Claims against the EPA because the EPA is acting under the color of law.
And we haven't gotten paid for 20 years because the Public Law 105-85 was November 18th, 1997.
That's correct.
So we got some labor disputes. We got,
Yeah.
There's a lot in the file.
Mm-hmm. And this is just the scratching of the surface. But this is some right now that a lot of people can get immediate relief, because if you file that claim, they're going to have to pay that claim out. If not, then, you know, we can go for crimes against humanity, okay, with the Hague Convention, okay, because that's crimes against humanity, and they're spraying us down.
Yeah.
But you know, the bar association is deep, so we have to dismantle the bar associations. Once we start dismantling the bar associations, okay, the bankers will start having to act right. Everybody else will start to have to act right. But it's really the bankers for real. The bankers are the ones that's controlling everything.
Yeah. And you can't play Monopoly with just a banker. You know,
Right.
all of us have to be part of it, you know?
That's correct. That is correct, Ryan. That was a very good observation. You are absolutely right. So, you know,
So we're just, you know, finding the rule books where we're glued to the, you know, top of the board game box. So let's hold them to the rules, you know? Let's file administratively and, you know, get the parasite off of us because we're consenting to it sucking our energy.
that's right.
It's
That's right.
bullshit.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing, you know, that's why I say people are at their jobs when they find out that they have been paying themselves to work all this time. If okay, I challenge some of your listeners to go ask their employers what their employers are, you know, to give them full disclosure on what they're using their social security numbers for. Okay. Your employer is going to tell you to go to payroll and human resources. Okay, human resources is, you know what a human is. A human is defined as an animal or a monster. Okay, so all these human resource agents or officers, you know, are really animal control for real. Okay, because they have us listed as livestock as a human. That's livestock. Okay, but we're not human. We're flesh and blood, living souls. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, because legally defined, like I said, human is an animal or monster, and where you can find that is in Title VII, agricultural.
Of the USC.
You can also find the definitions of the word person under Title 26, 7701, where it doesn't say it's a person, or it doesn't say it's a natural person, where it doesn't say it's a flesh and blood living soul or anything. It tells you it's a corporation, a partnership, a joint stock share.
A trust.
Right. That's what that birth certificate is, because your mother created a trust the day you were born, saying the state was going to be obligated to take, because for her and her child to be members of the state, they were gonna they're gonna discharge the child's debt, public debt. Okay, dollar for dollar. Okay, this is where we get into Public Law 73-10, which is 48 48 stat 48112. Chapter 48 stat 112. Right. Okay, and then HR 1491 as well. Okay. Yep. That we can file claims for. We can start filing claims, and we can start exposing their corruption in their courts, because that's what we're going to eventually have to do anyway. We're going to all have to mount up and go to D.C. Okay, and all the legislators and all the people who are calling themselves running the federal government. Okay, and this is what's being exposed now, because a lot of people are saying Donald Trump is not their president.
Hmm.
You know, they have to realize that he's the president of the major corporation, United States Inc. So he's a businessman at the end of the day. That should have exposed our whole system right there. When Donald Trump became president of the United States, we should have all known that this is not a government and this is a corporation. And Donald Trump is going to expose that himself. This is why he hasn't showed his tax forms, because he knows there's no money to pay taxes with anyway. He knows they're not using real currency. Okay? That's private. That's all private. Him and Mitt Romney and all them guys, they're telling them, put everything in trust. Own nothing, control everything. And people are putting their cars or their houses in trust. So they can't, their property can't be taken. But like I say, under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, man, you don't have to worry about commerce ever again, because we're proving everything has been prepaid for.
And commerce is not really existing since you said it's 1970s?
That's
71?
Right. Yep, since the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act was started. And that's when we went off the silver standard. That was around the same time when we went off the silver standard. See, when Kennedy got assassinated, okay, because what Kennedy did, he wiped out the bankers back in '63, and he gave the power to Congress to coinage money. Okay, and what was under the Coinage Act? I think what's that? Was the Coinage Act of 1970? It was the Coinage Act. I don't want to misquote anything, but it was the Coinage Act. Okay, and that got Congress to start issuing silver dollars. Okay, with Kennedy's head on it. Okay, those silver dollars were taken out of circulation in '71. Okay, there's still some floating around out there, and there's silver quarters still floating around out there. But for the most part, all that was taken out of circulation. So we don't have a lawful currency that we have to use. We don't have to use currency at all. I'm on a conference call for the administrative hearing for the Social Security Administration, so I got to fill it out. But yeah, so when they took all the silver off the street, Jimmy Carter in '77, okay, August 27th, 1977. Okay, he said that legal tender was no longer required for the payment of debt. And this was August 27, 1977.
So how are you supposed to pay debt?
With a signature. That's the only way a debt can be paid, is by a signature, because that signer is the principal asset and the creator of that debt.
It's the soul.
That's correct. So it's coming down to, okay, we're done selling our souls. We're done putting ourselves in debt. Okay, and we're starting to understand that if we create a debt, then that makes us the creditor. Because without the creator of the debt, the business cannot function. And that's what it's boiling down to. So people are going to be pissed, because they've been paying themselves to work all these years, and they've been working over a 30 or 40-year period. They have always been wealthy, have always been, had the credit that they needed. You just had the credit card companies step in as private individuals, and the banks, and they're giving you a credit score. You don't have a credit score. Account with the Treasury. You have a master account with the IRS. You have a master account with the Federal Reserve. I know you have master asset accounts with all these people because it was allocated from your birth certificate. Okay, that proof of life. Okay, this is where it goes back into the the souls of men will be bought and sold. And that's what they're doing with their trading your birth certificate on the stock market. And I'm gonna give you guys all some information. If you get into your state unclaimed property laws, it'll tell you that your birth certificate is a safe deposit box on file with the Treasury. Okay, and the Treasury, if you don't go claim that, the Treasury can use that property at his disposal. Okay, and it's telling you in the unclaimed property laws that that property will be placed on the stock market. So your birth certificate is sitting on the stock market, and we have the proof of it. You know, you can get on fidelity.com and look up your birth certificate under the ticker. You know, all you have to do is watch how you enter the numbers in. You have to put a space in between the numbers. See, when you're dealing with CUSIP numbers, you have to put a space in between each number. And that's going to show you how to, if you know how to get to the, you know, through the mutual fund, and then you pull down the symbol, mutual fund, and then you put your birth certificate number in there. Okay, just the number, and then you space it out. It's going to show you what your stuff is doing. Your birth certificate is panning out. And it's going to also show you the information on who to go to get this asset out. Okay, because that's an asset account in your name on the stock market. You know, you thought it was the goods that were being traded on the stock market. No, it's you and I that's being traded on the stock market.
Livestock.
Yeah, livestock, of course. Yeah, are you preferred stock or common stock? And I'll tell you, we're all preferred stock because without our energy and labor, we wouldn't have a stock market.
Yep.
The slavery exposed
And
that.
and people are trying to get good credit scores when they're the source of all credit.
Right.
And the consent is the source of credit.
Right.
Consent is all the money.
That's right. That's why I
And
want. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's why I was saying. You know, that's why I want all your listeners to get into the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, because that comes. This is what it is. Is okay. There's a 15 USC. This is dealing with how trade and commerce, you know, has to function. Okay, and this is how the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act got started out of the trade and the commerce, which is under 15 USC. You know, where they've deemed everybody debt collectors that's wanting that debt, which is that Federal Reserve note. Yep. So if you understand the debt validation letter, shit, you can send a debt validation letter into your landlord. And that landlord better validate that debt, because if he can't show his books, that you are in debt to him, then he's in trouble. Violated the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act 16 what's that 15 USC 1692G. He failed to validate a debt. He can be sued. And that goes for anybody who has a lease with you or your social security number. See, the lease is the principal. Okay, that's the principal. That's the lease. Okay. So if he didn't take that lease to the treasurer to get paid for it every month, then that's his fault, not yours. That's why your landlord doesn't. If he knows the system, that's why he doesn't have your original lease, because he has taken and sold it. That's why he'll always have a copy of the lease and not the original lease. That's just like your promissory note with the bank. They sell the promissory note. We all know they're selling the promissory note. Well, if they're selling the promissory note, then your property is paid for. No, chase the note. If you're dealing with a foreclosure, you go back, ask for full disclosure. You want to see the original wet ink promissory note. If they don't have that principle, you take them into a federal court and you sue them under 15 USC 1692G, a Fair Debt Collection or Practices Act lawsuit, FDCPA lawsuit, and you show how they don't have the original promissory note. They misrepresented their status as a lender. You are the lender, not the borrower. So they're misrepresenting their status as a lender. They're misrepresenting their statuses as police officers. They're misrepresenting their status as the president of the United States. Doesn't matter who it is. All their immunities have automatically been waived if they violate anything that's dealing with trade or commerce, or if they have violations of the FDCPA. And I'm telling you right now, they are all in violation of the FDCPA and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, because everything is based around credit, which you create with your signature and the issuance of a social security number. Okay. All right, Wayne, Ryan, I want you to do something right quick.
Mhm.
All right. I want you to break down the words social security, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Break down the word social security, because that's a compound word, social security. Okay. I want you to Google the definition for the word social, and I want you to Google the definition for the word security. And you don't necessarily have to do the legal definition, because everything has to be done in plain English according to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. It has to be in plain English. So all that legal jargon, all that legal mumbo jumbo, it's a wrap for all that. Okay? Black Law Dictionary and all that shit has been thrown under the bus. Okay? Because everything has to be in simple and plain English according to the FDCPA laws. Okay, so get into that. Go ahead, break that word down for us, social security.
So if you Google social definition,
Right.
it's an adjective meaning one, relating to society or its organization.
Okay, so relating to society and its organization. Okay. Did you ever sign a contract to be a part of society?
No.
That violates the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. All right, now go ahead and now read. Now, okay, now it says, read that one more time, right?
So social is relating to society or its organization.
Relating to society or its organization. Okay, now let's go look up what security means.
And security, it means the state of being free from danger or threat.
Or danger or threat. Very good. So, Social Security put together means, what does it mean to be secure in your socialness?
So you're the state of being free from danger or a threat while relating to society or its organization.
That is correct. That's what Social Security was designed for. That's why we have public safety laws. This is why we have highway safety laws. This is why we have uh, banking laws. You know what I mean?
So I'm free from any threat of society. Like I have society is good as long as I'm giving that I have that social security card or have that account
that
and
number,
number.
right? Yeah, because that number is was designed to pay for everything for you throughout your whole life, and you
You need
use it,
electricity. You need
electricity, right?
electricity. Sign it. Yeah.
Right,
You need
electricity, yeah,
this or
money,
that. You put your social. Okay,
right.
they got it. You don't have to worry about anything. You're secure. You
That's
know.
correct. You're the secure party creditor because you have an asset account with the gas and electric company. You have an asset account with your landlord. You have an asset account with the bank. You have an asset account with everybody who has your social security number. This is why the Federal Trade Commission and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is in our favor. It's up to you to start reporting your Social Security number for fraudulent activity. You got the GMEI utility website to prove the fraud. You know, it's up to you to start proving the fraud. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Make the federal government work for you.
They have been the whole time.
Yeah, they sure have.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
They,
continue to do it.
yeah.
This time,
So,
put some muscle behind it. You show how the bank has misrepresented their status as a lender because you are the asset account, so you're the fucking lender. Excuse my language, but you are the freaking lender. Okay, so you go to your bank manager. For those that have a bank account, you go to your bank manager and you look that bastard in his eyes and you ask him, am I an asset to your bank?
mm-hmm.
And if he says no, and then you say, okay, well, I want to close my asset account then. And what is he going to say? Because you're turning his asset into a liability.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So you look that bastard in his eye. If he says yes, you're an asset to our bank, you tell him, go ahead and write me out a $300,000 promissory note. Okay? And go ahead and charge whatever interest that you need. Promissory note to his window, and you cash it by one of his bank tellers, which is your bank teller for real, and you cash that promissory note. You get the Federal Reserve notes for it, okay? And come back and you pay his ass the interest, and then you go buy whatever you want. As simple as that. As simple as that, because it's all, when it comes down to it, it's all about accounting. It's about entries. That's it. Basic entries. That's it. Basic entries. So all I'm showing people how to do, is how to maximize their accounts as well. I'm gonna give your viewers and your listeners some another site that they can go to, and they can do some research on the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And this guy's his name is Brother Sharif, and he has his own radio show. It's called Thor Law Group. If you Google Thor Law Group, okay, him and his colleagues, man, they're doing some amazing things, man. I mean, some things that I've never thought that I would have seen.
You're saying Thor, like TH?
Yeah, THOR, like Thor.
Oh, okay.
Thor.
Consumer Intelligence Bureau.
That's
Thor,
correct.
CIB.
That's correct. CIB, Consumer Intelligence Bureau. Yep. The consumer is the creator of commerce. Once we master this, there's nothing that could stop you from getting that yacht. There's nothing that stops you from getting that dream mansion. There is nothing stopping you from getting that Bentley. There's nothing that stops you from getting the desires of your heart. You just got to understand who you are, to tap into it. But yeah, you start contacting people's accountants, and you let that accountant know, look, I'm on the asset side of your books. You don't need to be sending me a bill, because I can take you into a federal court and sue you under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. This is why the debt validation letter is so big these days, because their immunities have already been waived under Title 15. If they're interfering with traffic, trade, or commerce, their immunities have already been waived. So we just have to understand that.
Yeah, it's all out there. It just takes the actual, you, the living person here.
That's right.
This is not bogus. This is all their rules and their setup and how they're using it against you. So it really takes standing. You got to claim that you're not lost at sea for real. Because we've been lost at sea. We've been lost in the shadow of all their stuff that they're not disclosing, and then they're switching around on us and
That's
using
correct.
presumptions, to change
Right.
your view of the situation. It's total bullshit. They're feeding us bullshit and then, hooking to us and sucking blood, sucking our souls.
That's right.
Soul energy.
That's absolutely right. That's That's absolutely right. And it's and that we're the only ones that can change our situations.
Yeah.
I could take a bum off the street right now, Ryan, and I can show him how to maximize using his social security number the right way, and I can have him in a house. I can have him in a car. He can have a refrigerator full of groceries, a house full of furniture. If he understands that he is the asset.
Hmm.
I could take a bum off the street and make him a wealthy man.
Yeah, and it's up to
And
him
that's
to understand, and be able
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it
And that's
once you teach him.
if they're competent enough to our veterans, man, our veterans got it so good. If they really understand their positions, every veteran, if you're a veteran out here and you're listening right now, you have a DD 214. Okay, I'm here to tell you right now today that DD 214 has gold backed bearer bonds attached to it. Okay, um, Patrick Devine exposed that years ago, and he's been showing people how to cashier out the system, getting your DD 214s and getting your gold back bearer bonds and getting completely out of the foreign service. You know what I mean? If you're trying to expatriate and get back into your sovereign capacity, okay? Because they never told you couldn't expatriate. And once you expatriate with that DD 214, they have to release those gold back bearer bonds over to you because this was a promise to pay you in gold because they didn't have any currency to pay you. So they had to give you gold back bearer bonds for defending the country.
They
Our
gotta.
military personnel, the flesh and blood military members and personnel, they are part of the de jure government. Okay, but they have to recognize that oath that they're swearing to. Okay, if they got into their oaths and broke their oaths of office down, they'll actually see that they probably either swore to the wrong oath and they didn't take the right oath of office. This is what causes them to come under the corporate side because they got to use that. Okay, but see, the flesh and blood living soldier himself, he's not under that corporate side. He's a part of the de jure flesh and blood. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's a huge distinction from the public and the private. But see, they're all right now 14. That's the evidence. That's the evidence of the fraud. Okay, this is what goes back to the de jure side when they get that DD 214. And every service member knows that's retired or that's a veteran. Every last one of them know that DD 214 is very valuable, and they're holding on to it instead of cashing it out. It's a certificate. You understand what a certificate is? It has a cash value assessed to it. All our veterans, all our veterans are being played, and because they're not cashing in out the system, they're not cashing all the way out. And the only way you can cash out of the military system is you have to go in front of a panel of 5 judges. What is it? Let me see. You have a special court martial. You have a general court martial. If you get into Title 46 expatriation, it gets into the cashiering out of the foreign service. And I studied that with Patrick Devine, and I was lucky to get on that call because it was only certain individuals that were invited, and that was a blessing when I found that out. And I'm not even a service member, but I was still doing my due diligent research, listening to everything that they were saying. And when they were breaking down Title 46, Title 46 gets into mortgages, it gets into leases, it gets into a whole lot of stuff. Man, pull up Title 46 right quick, Ryan Forrest. Excuse me, let me. I gotta go to the grown man's bathroom right quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, if you're viewing this, you're viewing it for a reason right now. you have the means available to you, and there are private attorney generals out there. There's a school coming up this month, broad classes. If you're not on the big list, or if you don't know about AIB radio, go to TalkShoe or type in Google AIB radio broad class. All the archives up there. There's a breakdown of how you can do SF-95s. There's a breakdown of each of these different, the Federal Reserve Act, the Administrative Procedures Act, USC. It's all on there, and they're having a private attorney general school coming up as well. Get on the big list if you have not yet, because that's where I was informed about the private attorney general school coming up. It's going to be in Oklahoma at the end of this month. So get to the AIB station, TalkShoe, get those, listen to them, and then do the research on what is coming up. They give you the title, the chapter, subchapter. Type that in. It's all available online. All those laws. They have to make them available.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, well, are you available to come on and do another one in the future?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Get into, then we can get into a few different things. Have episodes on certain topics.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let me know. Just let me know. We'll set it up. But for the people out there today, I'm saying, like I said, this is a great time for us to be alive. Information that we're putting out here. This is gonna help your personal. This is gonna help your family, and this is gonna help your household. Because those three concepts, okay, in the coming months, those are going to be the most important things that we need to worry about taking care of. And anything that we're buying and selling, and the means of those three principles, okay, it's already been prepaid for. Okay, we are the credit of this nation, and we're exposing that right now to this day, the credit of this nation, because of our energy and our labor. Your employer is misrepresenting their statuses and calling themselves employers, and you are the employer. Understand business to business. Your social security number makes you a corporation, which is the truth. Capital name on it, it has to it as well. Okay, that makes you a corporation. So if you understand business to business, okay, you'll understand that your employer is misrepresenting their status. Okay, because you're not an employee, you are a partner. You are a partner to Apple. You are a partner to Walmart. You are a partner to Kmart. You are a partner to Kroger's. You are a partner to GM, Ford, Chrysler. You are the asset, because without you, your energy and your labor, they could not have a car manufacturer. They could not have a store. They couldn't have none of this. Okay, so this is what we're throwing back into the big corporation's face. Without us, you have nothing. So start treating us accordingly. Stop charging us for things, okay? Because we are the ones who are producing our own goods and services. We don't need the head man. We don't need the boss. The boss needs us. Because without us, the boss can't function. He can't run it by himself, can he? Yeah. Right. So we don't need no more currency. Okay. Our signatures is good enough to discharge and pay all debt. Okay, and this is what we're explaining to the banks. This is what we're explaining to the gas and electric companies. Okay, this is what we're explaining to the grocery stores. We should be able to walk into your establishment, sign our signatures on one of your receipts, and you take that signature to the treasury and you get paid for it. Do things the lawful way. Until we get back under the golden standard, but that's the only reason why we're able to use our signatures, because we're not under the gold standard. Okay, so we always have an unlimited credit account, because they made a way for us to pay for something. They didn't have a way for us to pay for something. That's why we went through the Great Depression. This is why we went through the bankruptcy. And this is why, Franklin Delano Roosevelt had to come up with the New Deal, where you had to have a name, where you had to have a number, and you had to have energy in order to buy and sell. Because without those three things, you wouldn't be able to do neither one of them. All right? So it's kind of, that's that, for my believers out there, you know what I mean? That should kind of, mess with your mental right now, because that gives us the mark of the beast. Okay, if you're actually really reading into the scriptures. But if you're looking at it on a commercial side, then it's not the mark of the beast, because you are the creator of this system. You're the creator of a debt. So all things are been prepaid for. So you don't have to look at it in that instance. And that's what I want all my believers to understand, because a lot of believers believe that we already have the mark of the beast. Okay. And in an instance, it is true, because you have to have a name and a number and energy and labor to, buy and sell. That is true. Okay. Based upon how we perceive it. Okay. But if you have a perception, well, I'm the creator of commerce. I'm the God of this world. You know what I'm saying? I'm a God in this world, and I'm a king without subjects. Then everything that I need and want has been pulled up for collateral. So that means I'm the credit of the nation. So, like I say, for my believers, God said he's going to give you the desires of your heart. Just look around. Did he lie to you? You just got to know how to access it. Because he said, the lack of knowledge, my people will perish. We're not lacking any more knowledge. We have the power to know all things. Okay, we have the power to create life. We have the power to destroy life. We have the power of sight, because if you look around, you see everything. Therefore, we have the power of all knowledge. Okay, these four principles is what the elite does not want us to understand. Okay, this is why they're passing around chemicals and getting all these women to have hysterectomies, and because they're causing these women to have hysterectomies by the things that the woman is eating, by the things that the woman is injecting into her body. Need the woman, because the woman is what's alive. If people really took the time to see it, we have been male chauvinistic for far too long. And the women are exposing that. The women are exposing that hell. Shit, we are all women at one point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
we're all born through them. Any life here has to be born through a woman's womb.
That's correct. That's the only way you can have life on this planet. You have to come through a womb of the woman. So the womb of the woman makes the woman God. Because the woman created man, they created the buildings, they created the banks, they created the jobs, they created the money, they created everything. You see what I'm saying? So we have to wake up. I know some of my Christian believers may not agree with me, but there's a level of understanding that you have to wrap your mind around and get out of the bounds of religion. I'm not saying stop believing in God. No, that would be dumb of me. Because you are a God, and that's evidence of a spiritual being. Okay, that's evidence, because you have life on this planet. We all have life on this planet, and we can trace the life on this planet. We can trace it back to 3 elements as well. So it's all coming together now. It's all coming together. Everything we are researching religiously. Everything we're researching lawfully. It's all starting to fit together now, and we're getting ready to blast off into another dimension, a higher consciousness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're not ready to take that into the new realm, you're going to be left behind. You'll eventually catch up. Don't get me wrong. You'll eventually catch up. But you'll be left behind, and the people will be moving on, and they're getting what they want. And when other people start seeing people getting what they want, they're gonna be like, "Damn, how did you do that? You know, you didn't have to do this, that, and the other like I do." You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a level of understanding that we have to have. We have to wrap our minds. We have to read. Let's get our heads out of the television and stop paying attention and focusing on what these people that we're hiring to do for a job are doing. Okay, and understand that we are the asset. Once you understand you are the asset, nothing out of personal, family, and household even matters.
There's no liability.
Right, there is none. There is none. You know what I'm saying? It's all that's been paid for as well. Like I said, you didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to be born. Nobody here asked to be born. So we shouldn't have a thought about having to pay for anything because it was already prepaid for. And I'm here to tell you that today. Any viewers got any questions or anything?
I don't have any chat up right now, actually.
Okay.
Right. I think I had one for the event, but I don't think I have any.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd love to. We'll schedule another one, and we'll get into details on a certain topic.
Definitely.
And it's really an honor to have you here. This is anyone listening, this is a man who's been putting all of himself into it, man. He's tuning into the wisdom and finding what's really going on. And then after he finds that, he just finds a new level of deeper knowing and knowing.
That's
and
right.
you also you also have a law office, right? Law offices of Demetrius Marwin Holder.
Yeah, and it's internet based for right now. Okay, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get me a location so I can, establish and things like that. But how I'm establishing, I don't think I want to, do it in the world system.
Yeah.
I want to be in my foreign sovereign national, position. I, start this firm. Okay, and what I'm doing is that I'm educating. Okay, like Rod is, having the private attorney general classes as well. I'm also educating my own private attorney generals as well. To where we're going to take you up to D.C. We're going to get your document stamped by the House and Senate Judiciary Committee. We're going to get congressional mandates to practice law in all 50 states of this country. Okay, right now I have that power. I can practice law. Well, I am the law. I'm not going to say practice law. We are the law, and we're exposing that in all 50 states. Okay, well, let me see. States have dropped out. It's not 50 states anymore. we're down to like 42, 40, somewhere in there. Because California, you see what they did out in California, right?
What did they do?
Yeah, I posted that in the group. Well, what their California is sticking their middle finger up as DC and said they no longer need them. California's getting ready to create their own currency, just like Texas is as well. They're getting ready to create their currency, and it's going to be backed by gold. That's what the United States can do about it. Okay, so
that's seceding.
Oh yeah,
for the most part, it's just
yeah.
So.
The state of California, they don't need Washington. What do they need Washington D.C. for? Outside of the Social Security Act. If you really think about it. None of them really need none of the states need DC. Okay, but see, and that's where a problem can come in at, because if that federal statutes make you foreign to that state, then that state and that foreign entity will have to collide. You see what I'm saying? That's a conflict of interest right there, because you're gonna have people with Social Security cards, and then you have people without Social Security cards. Okay, and everybody's able to do whatever they need to do. Okay, because of the currency situation. Okay, you don't have to have a Social Security number to get this job, because the employer is going to pay you in gold. So what they're going to do is they're going to have to cash everybody's birth certificates out and redeem those Social Security numbers back to the federal government. You know what I mean? So, and it was some very smart members of the Bar Association that came up with this solution and this idea. But it's going to take the people to back that solution. So, some of the members of the Bar Association are starting to jump ship. Okay, and they're starting to come on our side of the fence now. Karen Huda, she came out and exposed the IMF. She exposed the gentleman's agreement. So we do have lawyers that are coming out, and exposing the system for what it is. We have a couple of judges come out, to the last training that Rod had, and we're exposing, things that were going on with the system. So, once people start understanding, like, they're gonna have to start jumping ship, getting on the bandwagon, because if they don't, the people have the letters of marque and reprisal already in their name. We can start killing judges and lawyers at will, and we have the foreign sovereign capacity to do it because, we the people have the right to change our form of government at our leisure, and that's by any means necessary. So they're just waiting on the people of America to wake up and start taking action. And we have to take action by force if we have to. If these people don't want to step down, and when we ask them to, then it's going to be like the '60s all over again when the Black Panthers, stormed the Capitol. Okay, but it's going to be on a larger scale. We're going to have almost 300 million people trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because the average American citizen is tired of the police brutality. They're tired of being taken advantage of by the banks. They're tired of being railroaded by the lawyers. You see what I'm saying? They're tired of being railroaded by the judges with their judicial corruption. Nobody's following the law. So
No
this is law.
No one wants to take any responsibility. They want to put it all on us. No one wants to take any responsibility for, knowing corruption,
Yeah.
knowingly doing it.
Yeah.
Some of them don't know, but they're still, come on, you got to question at one point.
That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? You got to question everything that you've ever been taught. That's for damn sure. When I woke up, man, it was like, phew, I can't believe some of the things I found out, and I'm still finding out. You know what I mean? And like with the registrar process. I know I said we weren't going to talk about it, but that's big right there. That is big. To release your property from the state treasurer, that is big right there. And all you got to do is get into your unclaimed property laws, and it'll tell you how to, get the registrar to turn that over to the treasurer. And my bad. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had a phone call coming in. Okay, but yeah, once we get the treasurer to start releasing our property, then we're turning it into a liability for the state. I mean, everybody starts, because when that bank system falls, you want to have your estate safe and secure. Because if you don't, somebody's going to go claim your property. You're already here. Sure, I might go. I'm just saying, no, but I'm being serious, guys. You need to go claim your property, claim your body, claim your life, claim your kids as your flesh and blood property. You get their birth certificates back to that registrar, bit of ownership on it. Okay, and you get that registrar to send that over to the treasurer, and the treasurer has a 90 to 180 days to release your property. That goes for all the states. Because, like I said, you get into the unclaimed property laws in your state, and it'll show you how to claim your unclaimed property. Okay, you got your freedom papers. You know what I'm saying? You use free, master. And I'm saying this for, I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Mexican, or African American, whatever. Whatever you classify yourself as, you need to go deregister your property from the state. Deregister your house, register your car from the state. Okay? Because they're all using your property. They're all using your property. You got to know the office that you hold. You are the executor of that estate. You are the creditor of the nation. Okay? You are the finances in this country. This is what we want people to understand. I don't know. If anybody's interested in training and learning to become a private attorney general, they're having a seminar out in Oklahoma. Ryan said, you know, and you know, contact those individuals if you're trying to become a member of the private attorney generals. You know, because we're getting ready to start making some noises out here. You know, a lot of people have forgotten about the private attorney general and what that private attorney general can do. And by us having the letters of marque and reprisal, it's gonna be civil unrest. Because if once the people finally realize that in dishonor and he has committed treason, the police officers are in dishonor and have committed treason, and the lawyers and bankers are in dishonor, treason, then there's only one penalty, and that's death. Sorry. You know, that's just the way it's going to be. And we're supposed to have a revolution in this country every 20 years. Believe it or not. And that revolution has begun. And there's no stopping it. No stopping it. So I'm sorry for my position, how my camera's set up, because I'm looking down. I don't like looking down on people. It's kind of uncomfortable with me. So I do apologize for everybody about that. I'm on my tablet, so I have no choice but to do that right now.
Well, it's great having you on, and this is going to be, you know, it's a wealth of information, and it's going to be just a packet of light on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, this will be archived, so all times, you know, this is timeless information, because this is how people are going to get in there and make the changes and hold people accountable. This is it. This is the start. It starts with you, the God.
That's right. That's right. You know, we have to start governing ourselves accordingly. Excuse me. Yeah, we have to start governing ourselves accordingly. You know, if we're not governing ourselves accordingly, then we're letting any other individual or any person or natural person, you know, take our shit. You know, you can't take something from a natural person that already belongs to that natural person. You know, so you know, it's these people are barbaric, man, and they're blatant with it. They're barbarism. They're blatant with it.
Yep.
They don't care. So why should we?
Yeah.
We can get just as barbaric if just as they want to. Like I say, as long as we have those letters of marque and reprisal that has been granted to us from the United States, these state officials are in trouble. They are in trouble, and they better run. That's what I'm telling them. They better run for real.
Yep. So let that be a warning. You know, I mean, shit. If you're part of it, I mean, switch over before it goes down, because it's not going to be just the ship going down. It's going to be worse than that.
Right, because they're going to be trying to run back to us in safe haven, and we're not going to have it.
Oh, I'm sorry that you know, gave you indentured servitude with no end, and you know, cannibalized everything.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't have done it. Cause and effect.
That's right. Cause and effect. That's right. So, you know, they get what they deserve. You know, they know they've been doing this for a very long time, and if they and then I'm gonna tell you like this, it's a lot of people that just don't know too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of lawyers. I'm talking about lawyers. There's a lot of judges. There's a lot of bankers that don't know. You know, until they see the light. People that's just ignorant to the fact, you know, that this information out here, it's an administrative process. It works. You know, It hasn't failed me yet. It has not failed me yet. And I'm not saying that I've won every case that I put my hands on, but every case that I put my hand just happens to be, dealing with fraud and corruption. As a win, because you cheated to win. You see what I'm saying? So I count all that as a win. All my losses I count as wins because the judge and the lawyer were corrupt, and I got documentation proving their corruption. And I'm not being boastful, but you have documentation of the corruption. Everybody on the call has documentation of the corruption and the fraud, and it's called a birth certificate and a social security number.
You just say adios and catch up on my friend.
So, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and we're just trying to even the playing field, and we're going to even the playing field. You better believe that. That's for sure. We start educating the people, and the people start waking up, and they're going to go into the banks, and the banks, they're going to have to shut the banks down, because if the banks is issuing you your own money, that's crazy. You have a bank account. You are an asset to that bank. Go get you a $300,000 promissory note if you're with that bank, because they're using your money. Shoot. Shoot. I commend people for not using the damn bank too. I commend you for doing it, but in this system, how it is right now, go through the bank and get those Federal Reserve notes that are yours already. Buy you a house, pay cash for the house. Don't have to worry about a mortgage or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? While they're letting us do it, this is gonna be a whole different ball game once them black cars hit the scene. I'm telling you, you're not gonna like it either. It's turning it into a cashless society. Okay, this was prophesied years ago that they were going to turn it into a cashless society. We're headed for a cashless society. Set yourself up for example, or to be in a prime position as a creditor on the credit side. So it's still going to be the same type of system, because if you don't do what you're told, they just turn your card off. So it's still going to be a fight for freedom.
Yeah, it's not going to change without us. Yeah,
There's
exactly. No more time to sit idly by. You're digging yourself, a deeper grave, or you're just pretty much just walking around with flags up saying, "Hey, come suck me dry of all my life force."
Right.
It's that crucial. I mean, it's that serious.
That's right. It's crucial, man. This is down to crunch, man. Like, cause if people don't know anything about their estate, and the federal government just says, okay, here, we're going to turn everybody's estate over to them. And if you don't know what your estate is, and you don't know how to administrate your estate, man, I'm gonna tell you. And I'm not gonna say it's your estate, but it's the estate. You're just a mere user of it. You can't own anything. It defies the laws of nature. But however, back over to the real executors, and if people don't know how to administrate it, man, they're gonna be shocked, because they're not gonna know how to do certain things. Because the new system is gonna turn your whole estate over to you. If you don't know how to discharge your own debt, then that's your problem. So this is why I want people to start the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, because you should know how to discharge your own debt. It allowed us to do it just by placing our signatures on the contract. A receipt is a contract.
Well, hell yeah, man. It's crunch time, and it's time to study as well. If you
Gotta
are not
say.
up on it like myself, I'm gonna just be
Yeah.
studying.
Yeah,
But
well, you
yeah, I do have to get running too as well. To
okay?
go, you
Sounds
know,
good.
to a job.
Call it
It's
charity. Call it
yeah,
charity.
I'm donating my time, you know, just because I enjoy making pizzas. So I
Well, yeah,
agreed
you
to
know,
do that.
right. Hey, call it charity.
Yeah.
Okay? It's charity.
Well, this is emanating sovereignty. What you know you're gonna have to do if you don't want to get your rights infringed upon. If you don't want to get poached, you're gonna have to
Right,
emanate what you are, which is your signature frequency, which is that footprint or that signature,
right.
which is the only legal money going around right here. You know,
That's
so
right.
so thank you again for joining me, Demetrius, and I'm sure we'll talk soon and have another meetup.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try to get some of my colleagues on, and so they can expose what they've done as well. We'll probably try to get Rod on as well, so he can, tell you about what's going on in the Supreme Court and things like that. What he's done in the Court of Appeals and in the federal courts, how we're exposing the system, man. It's telling you, like I say, it's a great time to be alive, guys. And I thank you for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, dude, I'm honored. Thank you for coming
Yeah,
here.
not a problem, not a problem. I want this video too, so I can post it on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be already on YouTube. I'll send you the link too.
All right, sounds good, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And everyone, I'll be updating the description soon. So if you don't see it with all the files and all our references, it'll be up there soon. Uh, in a couple days, But thank you all for joining me. You're here for a reason. It all comes down to you.
Yeah.
And thank you again.
Peace.
Peace. Y'all have a good day.